Officially, the Cameroonian diaspora accounts about 4 million people with a vibrant community based in the United States of America. While some have chosen to forget about their fatherland, others are creating impact in their communities, making decisions to smile through humanitarian activities. Tonight, we shall be going in depth with one of them who has chosen to give back to her community through a groundbreaking project. Stay with us. My guest is a family nurse practitioner based in the United States of America. She was born in Cameroon, in Buea, the southwest region of Cameroon, but spent most of her time in the United States, where she also studied. She is a CEO of Primary Care Incorporated, based in Georgia in the United States. When she is not in the hospital saving lives, she spends time empowering women and kids to be the best version of themselves. She is also a coach and a motivational speaker. Join me to welcome Venetta Mwengella to the program. Venetta, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much. This is definitely a dream come true, sitting here today.
All right, the pleasure is shared.
Yes.
Now, there are many Cameroonians based in the United States, and most of them have chosen not to come back home, not to do anything to impact their community. Why are you giving back home?
This is very easy for me. Growing up, I have always been someone who is very, very community-driven, family-driven. While I was in the States about 8 years ago, I had a great mentor told me that, you know, I think the future is going to be back home. Why aren't you guys coming back home to empower your own communities and bring back what you've learned over there and empower us? We need your knowledge. We need all the things that you've learned to empower our communities back home. And at the time, I wouldn't lie, it looked like it was something that wasn't too possible because of where I was at the time. And I honestly was looking at what can I really give back? And I kind of put it to the side, kind of like something that I was going to go back to. So eventually, when the time came, that was the first thing that I thought about, those wise words. And I said, I think it's time to come back because I felt like I had something to bring back home.
All right, and what motivated you to finally make up the decision?
So the decision came, it was actually one of those things that I knew I had to do. And the timing, I never knew. You know how they say the timing, you never have a perfect time. You just have to make it happen. You have to make it happen. So like you said, I'm a family nurse practitioner originally, and then I went further to specialize in psychiatric mental health. So when I did that, it felt like it was air, like I was just breathing air. And I was like, oh my God, I found my niche, and I felt like my country needed this, especially at this very time where we have a global situation going on, the pandemic. There was a lot going on. And then back home, of course, I saw that our people really needed a lot of psychiatric mental health awareness to help them go through the difficult times, the challenges that we're facing now. And I understand that in the US, where I also practice, we are giving back too. We're also doing a lot, but I felt that there's no way like doing this for the US without also thinking about my family, my brothers, my sisters, my community, my country. This is where I grew up. This is the place that I call home.
Of course, we shall be talking about what you're doing so far in the US. But first, you're about launching the Venetta Mwengella Foundation. That will be this weekend in Buea. Tell us a bit about the foundation.
Sure. The foundation to me is just like my baby. It's something that I'm very passionate about. I have put in a lot of work into it, time and everything. I just feel like it's taking over who I am. But this foundation came as a result of me finding a very organized way to channel what I want to bring back. Because yes, you might want to bring back something home, but what is it? How are you going to bring it back? And I didn't want to just bring it back in a way that would not create the impact that I wanted it to create. So I did some research and I found that, you know, a foundation will be a better way to do so. Because not only are there other people that are also willing to help, but it's going to be organized. The way it's structured, it brings a level of organization and transparency, and also to also give other people the opportunity to be partners and also bring back
also
help.
serve.
And also serve. Because not everybody is going to have the time or the commitment or the passion to want to run a foundation. Of course, it's not easy. It's not. But because of the love and what is driving, the driving force is actually what is inside. People can't really see it. But I saw it, and I found that bringing a foundation is a more structured way and a more organized way to make the impact that I want to create in Cameroon and, of course, Africa and the world.
All right, now tell us about the foundation. What should the community know about the Venetta Mwengella Foundation?
Oh, sure. I'm really glad you're asking me that question now, because it's exactly what I would have been talking about regardless. And what I want people to know about the foundation is that, first and foremost, it is a vessel to raise mental health awareness. And this came about because of a situation that is very personal to me. I went through a very traumatic experience. So, I mean, you know, what most people know about me is that I'm a family nurse practitioner, and then just recently became specialized in psychiatric mental health, in that, you know, I work at the hospital, I also work at the clinic with saving lives, we're working at the forefront. But what people don't really know it's that I went through a very traumatic experience that kind of put me in a place. And while I was in that place, I was able to say, you know what, this is a classic case of if life gives you lemons, you're gonna make lemonade. So I didn't want to be sour, you know, I took the lemons and I said, okay, this is the time. And while I was figuring out what exactly happened, and then I saw that this is an area where we have to be talking about mental health awareness because of what I was going through. And I said, I probably am not the only one. I probably am not the first to go through what I went through. So why not bring it back? Why not understand this further? Which is why I went back to specialize in psychiatric mental health. I really didn't have to, because as a family nurse practitioner, I do take care of psychiatric mental health, you know, issues as well. However, that's not my specialty. And you know, in the US, we're very specialty oriented. Yeah. So I can only do so much. And then I have to outsource, as I would say, consult maybe a specialty area. Yeah. So I went ahead to, first of all, understand the process. Like, what did I just go through? And in the process of me understanding, gaining more knowledge, I went ahead and also realized that, hey, how can I take this situation? How can I turn my pain into power versus taking it and being vindictive and being sour? How can I take it back and just come back really powerfully, and how can I help other people go through a similar situation? So we're going to be looking at mental health awareness. And the most important part of it, the reason why I'm focusing on awareness is because I know one thing. Wayne Dyer once said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you're looking at will change. So when I changed the way I was looking at things, when I changed the way I was looking at my situation, not as a traumatic event, but as something that I can use, something that has opened up the doors for so many things, then it then occurred to me that, yes, I can raise awareness. If people begin to renew their mind, when you renew your mind, and then you can transform your life. You know, if you known me then when I was going through that, this is a completely different person. And I want this for every single person out there, everybody that's going through a similar situation. When they begin to know, when they begin to get their awareness, when they begin to renew their minds, then their lives will begin to transform. It is just something that money cannot really buy. And yes, it's going to take some time with a lot of one-on-one, but raising mental health awareness is at the forefront, because once they know, then they can start inducing the transformation within themselves. And then it's going to now trickle out and people are going to see. And then the reason why I focused on single parents, I must say I started off focusing on single women, single mothers. And then I thought about it, and it was like, well, I don't want to be biased. I don't want to, why there are so many single parents that are male.
Also male.
So why not? Why not have them in here? Why just focus on women? I know there's a lot, I'm a woman, and it's just natural to want to stand up and be there for women. But also the who that I am more of a universal being. I think about the universe and I think about us all. Gender really isn't the only thing that I would consider, because I feel like we're all in this together. So I figured, looking at single parents, because I am a single parent, And my situation led me into that. So it made me just put that together as a niche, as an area of focus, where I'm going to pour in a lot of my, what I have to give back.
Now, you are from the United States where the mental health is being addressed in a more professional way. When you look at the situation in Cameroon, what have you observed so far?
Again, a great question there. So in the US, like you said, rightfully said, mental health is something that they don't take for granted. They have a lot of resources. Even at now, they're still saying it's an area of need, as in there is a shortage of providers, right? So it amazes me when I think about where I'm from, and then I think about Cameroon. I said, if they're mentioning that they're actually having a shortage here, then what more will my brothers and sisters say back home? And then the second thing that came to mind was, hey, there is this stigma around mental health back home, where people have not fully embraced the concept. People are not openly addressing their mental health issues like it is in the US. Most people here, when it comes to mental health, they shy away from it.
But why do they shy away from your experience?
Because I think it's just the stigma that is associated with it. You know, growing up, what I remember, because I've been in the US now for a while, what I do remember about mental health was that people were never ever proud of, you know, talking about any family member or anybody who has any kind of mental health situation. When they find that, what they normally will say is that it's probably witchcraft, or they'll probably chain you and put you in the back of the house, and nobody ever knew you existed. And should you ever wander around and people are just calling you a madman, versus looking at the situation that you're going through, let's say if we get a diagnosis and then we get a treatment plan, you will not know that human being as a madman, just as an individual was going through whatever the diagnosis is at the time. So when I looked at that, I also want us to destigmatize mental health. That's the biggie for me. So mental health, for me, I want us to get to the point where, because I know now we don't freely talk about it, we don't embrace it, we don't accept it. We think it's a stigma. We don't want to be associated with it. When we hear mental health, we're like, okay, it's those people over there in America, you know. It's not, this is not us, we're tough, we're strong people, you know, we don't have those things, we don't have depression and anxiety, and people don't want to accept it, but they're suffering in silence. Deep down, they're going through a lot of stuff. And when I look at it, I want my ultimate goal is to have mental health be that thing that you can discuss freely, like you walk into your doctor's office and you show them and say, hey, let's talk about my high blood pressure and my diabetes and my kidney issue, and it's fine. But when it comes to mental health, nobody wants to talk about it. It's just that thing for me, for one. And again, as we flow, because when the vision came to me to start this foundation, I didn't see everything clearly. Like I said, it started from a personal need to know what I was going through, and then to turn my lemons into lemonade and turn my pain into power, right? And then I realized that why not bring it through an organized channel? So things are opening up, and the more we're going forward, and I'm looking at these things and I'm seeing areas that I could be working on more. So, but for now, starting off with the awareness, second of all, destigmatizing. We don't want the stigma. We don't want people looking at it as, okay, if I accept my mental health, it means I'm weak. If I accept that I have difficulties in this area, it means that makes me weak or makes me look like I'm bad or something is wrong with me. But that, no, this is okay to talk about. You know, it's okay. And no matter how the setting is, if you want a one-on-one, if you want to be a group stuff, if you want to feel like you belong to a group of people that are also going through a similar situation, because when it comes to the community and we're healing together, it also brings that sense of I'm not alone. So belonging. It makes it okay. Yeah. The moment you know you're not alone, like certain things are trending and people do it because it's trending, okay? They don't even understand what it is. So when it comes to your mental health, let me tell you this. There is no health without mental health. You can have all the money in the bank. You can have your blood pressure is okay and everything, but if up here you're not sound, everything else is nothing. So I feel like we have to start from there. I feel like it's actually urgent. We're behind.
All right. Now, do you think that COVID-19 has raised the need for this awareness to be reinforced? Absolutely.
Absolutely. Never has it been this big, where and it is a pandemic, like this pandemic, it's like a global phenomenon. So everybody went through a similar thing. It's called collective trauma, you see, in a kind of way that people's lives were challenged in ways that they've never been challenged before. And as a single parent, I could see the impact even more. And that made me say, yes, I picked the right niche because I'm a single parent. And when the COVID hit, people had to quarantine at home or lock down. It was a long time. You're stuck with your kids at home. You're stuck with, for those who are married, you're stuck with your spouse at home. Everything is, you're just stuck in this place that is locked, nothing is happening, right? And it was challenging for people that were married. What more of single parents? When you can go to work, nobody can take care, you can't take your child to childcare. So let's say, for example, if your boss had to tell you to work from home, you still can't even work because you have to take care of the kid. You have to still provide. How can you can't work, you have to provide. It's like expecting to squeeze water out of a rock.
Plus lockdown measures.
Plus the lockdown. Yeah. So not only was the fear, there was a lot of fear. People did not know what was going on. Nobody knew. People were afraid that they were going to die. Second of all, we understand the power of being with people in the same room, talking, and just doing our thing. And then now you cannot. You can't talk to the people. You can't go to the places you normally used to go. I love to take walks. I used to love to take walks. This is the best thing, sitting around, running outside, doing the things that you had to do outside. Thank God I was I'm in the medical field, so I had a laissez-passer to be out. I was in the interstate by myself, driving. I thought the world had come to an end and everybody had gone. And I was like, wow, what's going on? Why is it that we're not having this? Where's everybody?
Now, do you think that COVID-19, which is the global pandemic, has raised the need for this awareness on mental health to be reinforced?
Sure. Now more than ever. I think what the pandemic did was it kind of opened up a lot of areas that we didn't even aware that needed, attention. So yes, there was fear that came with the pandemic, the fear of the unknown, the fear of not knowing what this virus is, what it's going to do to us. Are we going to die? Is everybody going to die? And the fact that you're shut away from life, from everything that it was a new normal. The things that you used to do, the things that were therapeutic to you, you could no longer do them. And you're stuck at home. You know how it is to be stuck at home. We're free spirits. We thrive when we're out and about and doing the things that we do freely. But when we're locked down, it's almost like you're in a prison, but it's just like it's your home, right? And nobody likes that. That's why they use either solitary confinement or put people in prison when they want to punish you. But for this, it was for, hey, let's do it for the global good. So it raised all of that. People who already had mental health issues got even worse. They couldn't get to the therapists. And that was the one thing that, I have so many patients that would say, hey, I always look forward to my appointment. I look forward to coming and sitting here talking with you for therapy. That is what I always look forward to. And then they couldn't do that. We tried to do telehealth where you could do it via tele, and they said it just wasn't natural. They missed that human connection. Yeah. So it brought a lot of issues with that. And then there is the fear, the anxiety, depression. We had so many kids who couldn't go to school. School was their outlet. School was the place where they went and met their friends and they played, because maybe home was very, very uncomfortable. Maybe they were being traumatized at home. So they didn't have school as an outlet. They ended up killing themselves. We had a lot of, the suicide rate went up. We had young kids, and I tell you, that pained my heart. I actually did a series where we're talking about the effects of COVID-19 on mental health. And we were trying to engage people and telling people that we could even do play dates virtually, where friends could connect and play real time. Yeah. That's the best we could do. We started coming up with certain things that we could do. Call people more. Okay, we understand that you can see them video chat, live stuff, where they can see each other. Send flowers or something, whatever it is that you could do. So like I said, it made us become aware of the setting. Even people who were never diagnosed with mental health issues. You see some people, especially married people that never got along, they were fine because they were always away. And then now they're in this space together. They have to be in that space. They didn't know how to address that. So the divorce rates went up. You know what I mean? Because now I'm seeing you for who you really are. And we're stuck in this place for a long time. And things were coming out that were never out.
Domestic violence.
Domestic violence, because when the other spouse couldn't take it, the next thing was to resort to the violence or, abuse, which is something that was really bad. Those numbers went up. The children. Some people are not natural parents. They're okay when the kid goes away, they can do what they're doing. But when the kid is always around, running around, they couldn't take it. You had situations where kids were being abused. Kids were being abused at home because the parents were frustrated. They were just tired. They just didn't know. So those things came to play. Those things came to light. And we were very, very, very careful with that. And then one important thing that really got to me, because like I said, I also work in critical care. So I work in the ICU where we were receiving the people that were dying. If you had COVID and you couldn't make it at home, you came into the hospital, your family members couldn't reach you.
That's
Nobody's
like you're
there.
preparing to die?
So because at the time, we wouldn't let anybody else come in. You know, when you're sick and your mom comes by the bedside, you feel just her presence. You feel better. You can even get up and eat that orange, right?
Yeah.
But guess what? There's nobody. You can't breathe. Remember, you can't breathe, and all you see are faces that are not familiar. And you're dying probably without a loved one at your bedside holding your hand. You know what that means? The family is at home crying. They don't have the closure because they wanted to be there and they couldn't. And it was because of the pandemic. They're respecting the laws not to come out, but their loved one is dying. And guess what? At the beginning, they didn't even see the body. They would just take it straight to a mass grave. You see what that does. Coming from a place where we'll plan a funeral for 3 months, but now you can't even see this person, they're gone. So you're waking up every day thinking that this person will come back, but they're not coming back because you don't have that closure. And that alone is very traumatic. So we're preparing for a lot of post-traumatic stress disorder, which is just a form of disorder. I'm not going to go into technical terms now, but this issue is something that I am preparing everybody's minds for the things that they've been through, and this can come up later on just because of the trauma that you had, and it wasn't addressed in the way that it was supposed to, and then it's coming out later on. So there is a lot. I could take all the time to talk about that, but I want to stay within your time frame and not.
Of course. Now, let's go back to the foundation. You launched the
Sure.
foundation in the United States.
Yes.
So far, what have you been able to achieve over there?
Sure. So since I'm really based in the US, I do most of my work there. I spend most of my time there. I decided to register. It's actually a registered entity. It's a 501c3, for those who understand what that means in the US. So we have been doing a lot. So as a psychiatric mental health provider, I can do more there, as far as prescribing drugs, as far as doing a lot of therapeutic work with people, and many other things that I do in the community. Here in Cameroon, I'm practically limited to just maybe therapeutic work. I can't really write prescriptions here because I'm not licensed in Cameroon. But what we've been doing so far, again, the awareness part is the biggie for me. I want people to become aware that mental health is a thing, and it's something that has been neglected for a while. And we are currently working with Mental Health America. That's one of the entities that I've been working with. They're raising a lot of buzz too about mental health. They've been around for a while. So we're working with them. We're looking into making sure that we create that awareness through most of their platforms and through most of the work that they're doing. So we're bringing that. We go to shelters. We go to homeless shelters. We go to women's shelters where we see a lot of single parents there who are really out in the streets not having anything to do. And most of the time, most people who have psychiatric mental health issues cannot manage their lifestyle. Maybe they are not seeking the medical help that they need, and then their life can fall out of place and find themselves in the streets. So we do a lot of work that way. We do a lot of webinars. And again, with the work that I do at the clinic, I see psychiatric mental health patients. So that's my way of giving back. For those who are single parents, and they can come to me and I see them for free. They don't have to pay. They don't have to pay. That's my way that I also give back. If you are a single parent and you qualify, I don't tell people what the criteria are because people will tell you what you want to hear. When I hear, I do one-on-one with them, I get their story and we get down with it. And we've also been working in Cameroon. Since we're already registered in Cameroon, we're just launching it now because I finally got the time, the gates finally opened up for people to travel. I actually came in last night. So I was like, okay, why not come in here and come and launch here as well? Because we've been doing work behind the scene as well. We've been working with single parents here in Cameroon. And I feel like the dollar goes a long way here. So most of the impact is going to be felt here too. So I'm very impressed. And so they go hand in hand. Whatever I'm doing there, I'm just trickling down. Whatever is good for me in the US, I say is good for my brothers and sisters here too.
All right, now, you are not new to humanitarian work. You have been partnering with other humanitarian organizations. How has this shaped you for this new adventure?
Just who I am. I'm a giver. as something. At some point, I thought it was a weakness because I can literally give everything I have and not have anything. And I used to, when I see anything that is a worthy cause, I've always chipped in. If I don't have time, I will donate. It's not something, I don't talk about it a lot, but I'll be like, hey, this can also go a long way to help the people that are actually on the ground and doing that. And for me, I get great satisfaction with knowing that I'm helping and that I'm making a difference. Not only because of, when they sound your name, which I always tell them not to, but most importantly, knowing that we're here. The reason why we're here is to help one another. You could have it all, and if you see your brother who is in need, you know that that's you because we're all one. So their pain becomes your pain, their lack becomes your lack, their need becomes your need. That's how I look at it. Like I said in the very beginning, I am a universal citizen. So I find myself really incorporating in everything and knowing that, hey, giving back to anybody, even those who are not close to me, those who are not Cameroonians or those who are not Americans, it's still giving back to myself in a way that will go around and come back. And I encourage more people to get involved. Okay.
Now, earlier you mentioned what being a family nurse practitioner is all about. Mm-hmm. And I would like to know, you do belong to an association of Cameroonians, that's the Association of Cameroonian Nurse Practitioners in the United States.
Yes.
How important is this body in shaping this particular domain of healthcare delivery?
Oh man, amazing question. That's one other cause that I'm also passionate about. And again, they're not just, they're like family. So in the US, when you are a professional, you always belong to a professional organization. So as a nurse practitioner, we have the ANP, which is just the American Association of Nurse Practitioners. So we saw how this impacted the lives of nurse